Welcome to another episode of Everyday AI, where I chat with experienced professionals across various domains to understand how AI is shaping their work. I'm excited to have with me today Ashish Arora. Ashish is the head of engineering and ML for product analytics at Autodesk. He is truly passionate about all things data, and he excels at building and leading teams that deliver high impact data and AI products. Join us today as we dive into his fascinating career, explore the impact of AI in engineering, and uncover the essential skills required to thrive in today's rapidly evolving tech landscape. I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Ashish. So, uh, I want to get started with your career progression, right? You've had like an incredible run. You rose from a data scientist to the head of engineering in just a span of 6 years, and that truly is something inspiring to me, right? So, what were the pivotal moments in your career that made this happen? Can you just share your story a bit?
I would say like one of the biggest things from day one for me, as I had like joined my company at Autodesk, I joined as a senior data scientist. From day one, like I was always just curious about, apart from the day-to-day work that I was doing as a data scientist, as like researching and building models, I was also curious about how other ecosystem also worked around me. For example, just take an example of data engineering. I was very curious about like how the overall data landscape evolved and worked at Autodesk, and that helped me slowly also connect the dots at a higher level, and that curiosity got me like more opportunity. I think that's what generated that more opportunity around getting projects where I became more of a subject matter expert in different places, as well as embracing ambiguity. I think one of the things that like a lot of people early in their career become a little too rigid about, like, okay, this is the area that I want to just operate in, and become a little bit more worried about that, okay, well, this is the structure that I should be following, versus embracing ambiguity actually takes you a very long way, and gets a lot of that visibility, because you're someone who can actually take on complex challenges, where people where basically the answers and the overall problem itself is very unknown, and being just uh, uh, carved for the company right now. So I think those were things that I would say that helped me got a lot of that visibility upwards, and made that path more natural, where I could take on more complex problems to solve.
Absolutely. I feel like ambiguity breeds creativity, and you're absolutely spot on that. But then, like, how quickly did that transition happen from IC to the management track for you?
I would say I was in like I had some experience before at this company as well, but I was an IC for about ish years, 2.5 years here at Autodesk, and slowly became more of a tech lead, and then transitioned into a people manager. But I remained very technical during that transition as well, and I would say that I'm still very technical even as a head of engineering. I still keep myself rooted in technology. That's what helps me pay the bills.
What's that? But do you think that there's a change in mindset that's required when you're going from an IC, a technical IC, to a people manager?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I do think that there is a big change in your mindset when you go from an IC to more of a leader for into people management. I think you really need to, as technologist, as a developer, as a data scientist, you really loved that instant gratification of like developing something and seeing it work, and you have to let go of that. You have to let go of execution, and you have to move more towards enabling others, and basically creating that ecosystem, and thinking about problems in a bit more of a second order thinking, versus just solving problems with your own code. I think that broadening of perspective is a big change, and requires sometimes it does require a lot of that effort. Also, to grow in this particular area of people management and leadership, the thing that becomes very important is also emotional intelligence, where all our like traditional educational systems are usually focused on building your just general intelligence, general IQ, what's called as like just problem solving, versus emotional intelligence is what like gets you better at this particular role. So that is another mindset shift that happens when you transition from an IC to a leader.
Yeah, it's definitely a different skill set, and it requires a broadening of perspective. Agree with you on that. But yeah, we're here to talk about AI, right? And you've pretty much been in you've had the front seat view into everything that's been happening in recent times, that you've been predominantly leading machine learning and AI teams. How have you seen the landscape kind of evolve?
I think that's a great question. I have actually, I feel like it has changed so much even since I've been in this industry at the pace itself. Like just it is astonishing. Because even when I had joined, like I feel like there was still a big focus, and there is still, but it has it's shrinked a little bit, but there was a big focus around building traditional machine learning models, and it was almost a very highly specialized role of like data scientists and machine learning engineers that could do that. Versus now, I feel like with the advent of large language models, there is a big shift in the industry where there is almost that democratization of AI, where now the barrier to entry to develop AI tools and products has become very small, and anyone, even like just general engineers or designers or product managers, can start playing with AI, and you don't need as much as like you needed to from a barrier to entry. But I would still say that it doesn't mean that like the need for data scientists or machine learning engineers or applied scientists have gone away. It has definitely even grown more, because at the end of the day, the first principles thinking still matters. It is a very mathematical oriented field, and you do need when you have to go from like just basic prototypes or like MVPs to a real life world, real world applications that are going to run for millions of users. It is gonna you do need a little bit of that nuanced knowledge as well.
So how has it changed your approach to product development? And maybe what are the trade-offs between traditional NLP and LLM based NLP that you're seeing today?
I would say that one of the things that I would say again, like that has actually changed from natural language and like just traditional NLP or other traditional machine learning models. There was a very big effort around can we uh, how can we label data, how can we clean data, which is still there in the sense that there you do need some data that is more like a label. But I think that again has also reduced overall with LLMs. You do need clean data, you do need instrumentation that is right, do you need subject matter experts that can help you curate that data sets. But now again, that barrier to entry has reduced. It has helped, like it has those LLMs and those foundation models can actually understand much more than just what natural language traditional models could do.
Yeah, a lot more possibilities with LLM based products, I would say. But when you're building products at a company with scale, right, which basically goes out to millions or even like billions of users, what are the challenges that LLMs present? I'm sure there are a lot of challenges that you kind of like grapple with, but what are the key things that typically come to the fore?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that gets actually ignored very often than not in the industry, because that is something that like LLMs provide that a great, as I was mentioning, that a great opportunity for companies to start dabbling into AI, but it does not mean that like you can just build at that scale unless you get other things right. For example, you need to have your data infrastructure right to be able to serve millions of customers. Where, for example, at my company, we are serving millions of customers, generating petabyte scale data every day. And when you have to do that, you also need to make sure that like all your ecosystem around that is going to support AI applications is also cutting edge. It also can scale. It has it has the ability to support the latency, the overall reliability of those AI applications as well. And the other thing that I feel like that also is a big challenge is also making sure that your overall, as you're integrating AI into some of these older softwares or softwares that are more have been in down for a long time, like any kind of desktop applications or other things, you need to also need to really think about modernization of those applications themselves, because they pose a big challenge. Like because you're basically bringing a very new base technology in front of customers in these applications that they have been using for decades. So there's a big aspect of also building trust with the user first with these AI-based applications in those particular softwares.
Yeah, it's some people might call it breaking the wheel, right? And that's something that you got to do with a lot of care. But there's a lot of talk about AI increasing productivity, right? Especially in engineering. Are you seeing any of that within your teams?
I would say 100%. That is like it's almost become a non-negotiable for engineering teams. Engineering teams at the base level itself, like that is an assumption that you always need to improve your efficiency. You delivered a feature in 3 months. The next time, if you have to deliver the same feature, it needs to be in half or less than that time. That is always the assumption for engineering, that you need to always get more out of what you're doing today, because it's all about automation. It's all about making things more scalable and efficient. And I think AI is enabling that at a newer pace for just general for teams themselves. For example, even tools like Copilot or ChatGPT are becoming more embedded and part of the day to day of our work as engineering teams. It has improved overall. If you even think about just small things that sometimes take a lot of care and time, is documentation. It has also improved on that. It has given a lot of that ability for us to be able to triage a lot of that information more easily.
Yep. So how is it reshaping the way you think about scaling teams? Do you feel like it has reduced the need for certain roles?
That is a good question. I would say that it has not really reduced from, especially from an engineering perspective. It might be that there is a shift in how the roles that we focus on and the investment that we have in building skill sets as well. Uh, I feel like the core principles of AI and building applications and building things remain the same. If you go to the most basic layer of the foundation layer of like how engineering works or how AI works, engineering fields usually work in that same manner of like having that systems thinking. It's just that now the skill sets are changing a little bit. We are seeing a shift in that where I would say that even in the upcoming years, AI and like familiarity with AI is going to become a norm for all engineering roles in the next 2 to 3 years, where in all different job applications or job descriptions you will see as a basic qualification familiarity with AI tools. So I think that is where that shift is happening. I would say that there is no as such reduction. There will be. I would not say that all roles that exist today in engineering will exist in the next 5 years as well. There will be a lot of things that are more that could become just that have a little bit of that uh, uh, those things that are more repetitive will become more AI driven and will be automated.
So, how is it influencing your decisions around headcount? Are you still thinking about growing your team headcount wise, or are there like any certain skills that you're prioritizing today which you weren't maybe a few years ago?
Yeah, I think like for us and for me specifically, I would say also like that there is a big focus on like expanding people who have already that base level of knowledge in AI.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, Quantitative fields matter even more now more than ever, and your ability to have at least a basic understanding of like how AI or machine learning works is important, and it is something that like with baking in even for like just roles that are more traditional software engineering already, and overall I think how it is just like shifting my perspective is that I think I like AI has become just like a first class citizen in shipping any kind of software as well. So whenever we are thinking about building a new feature or a new product, uh, our AI leaders or in my AI team is also part of that conversation from day one. Versus sometimes I feel like in the past it was a bit more after the fact and a bit more afterthought that like okay from let's deliver a feature as an MVP first, and then we'll think about making it more AI driven. But I think from an industry standpoint itself, that is becoming more of a baseline where like your features should come with AI integrated, and they should be AI first already.
Right. Absolutely. I can see that just as a consumer of many products, right? That's like a baseline expectation for me as well today. Spot on that. But let's talk about your personal workflows and how you're leveraging AI, right? How does that look? How does AI create productivity unlocks for you personally?
I think it's actually it's been a game changer. It has been something that like I've been using, I would say, daily. I would say like 2 years ago it was like more occasionally once in a week, but now it has become daily. I would say that like there's no day that I'm not using some sort of AI tools that are also like just natural language driven. Uh, I would say the biggest things that it has helped me in is like it has become a bit of that thought partner. As leaders, you have to really also think about and challenge your own decisions and thinking. And sometimes AI can actually act as that neutral party and as that unbiased tool that allows you to at least like just be a sounding board in being that thought partner. And other things that I would also say is that it has helped me in is also get better at communication and writing. That is all a big part of my job and requires a lot of effort. I think that has also become more easier and just more. I've become more efficient with it because of AI. And then the third thing I would say is triaging information. I have to consume a lot of information as a leader. If you can imagine, like I have multiple teams that I lead, 30 different people that are working on their day to day and executing multiple projects at the same time. So there is a bombardment of information that I have to and I had to always consume. AI helps me with that as well because I can really use tools like even just if you think about Copilot to summarize things and identify different things that are more key points that I can then dig deeper into.
Yeah. And how about we actually like spoke a little bit about how AI today is becoming a non-negotiable in the workplace, right? But when you're dealing with traditional teams that are used to doing things a certain way, say traditional software engineering teams or whatnot, have you been uh, faced with any sort of resistance to adoption of these technologies?
That's a good question. And there will always be some sort of resistance for any kind of change. That is something that we definitely realize. And that is the case. Like that, like adoption is happening, but it's still one step at a time. That like I am seeing that there are people across teams and across like the overall company that are like just champions of this change and are those early adopters, and there are some pessimists still. I would say that even from just like last year, I was at a conference last year and this year as well, and both of those times I attended this conversation about using AI in like just helping write code. And last year there was, I would say, probably 70% people that were still on the fence about like just that, okay, well, it still makes a lot of mistakes, and it causes a lot of a lot of that churn around like rewriting something that it just generated incorrectly. But this time I would say that it flipped quite a bit. It was the other way around, where most people were saying that, yeah, like I actually have been using it very often. I just love the aspect of being able to just write, be able to write unit tests, or help have AI as a code reviewer, as a early reviewer before I actually push the code for more human review. So I think there is a big shift that I am seeing, even from like just in a span of that 1 year. I've seen that it has completely flipped. There was much more of that like uh, sentiment around the adoption of like, yes, that we should start utilizing it. And it's, I feel like when the whole industry is talking about this, there is going to be a fear of missing out for most people, which is also gonna drive them towards adopting AI more and more towards this change. And I would say that, yeah, like AI is not gonna really replace engineers. That the first level, just overall first principles thinking and problem solving is still the base of engineering, and what's still needed in this new era of AI. Versus I think how I would frame it is that engineers with AI are going to replace engineers without AI. So if you haven't yet jumped on that bandwagon yet, you might fall behind. So I do say that, yeah, like I am motivating most of my team to just start dabbling into AI and learning and using it as a companion.
Yeah, what I also feel is that as the technology itself evolves and gets more mature, that is, the quality of the products improves, then a natural consequence of that would be more people using it. Like as you said, right? Like as the models get better at generating code and whatnot that is error free, you'll have more engineers kind of adopting it.
Yeah.
But then, okay, just to kind of shift gears a little, another thing that I always wonder about, right? You and I, we've both gone through like the interview system and interviewed for various roles, be it data science, data engineering, or software engineering. The way interviews are set up today, uh, I would say is antiquated in a way, right? They test you for, like, say, lead code problems and so on, which today we know can be solved in under a second or so, under a minute or so, using AI. At the same time, we're talking about how AI is a non-negotiable skill at the workplace. How do you marry these two concepts? How are you thinking about interviewing in today's world?
I have never been a personal fan of those like traditional interview loops, and I'd never I try to keep them as low as possible, even before the era of AI for my own team, uh, because I feel like that like even earlier before AI was there, and like these code gen tools were available, it was almost like you can just learn a few tips and tricks to do certain types of coding problems, and That is what like people used to rely on for interview prep. Versus, I feel like solving real world problems is very different. There is a bit of that. Like I feel for us, we have always focused more on that systems thinking. I think that's what matters the most, and I think that is where the industry is going to shift as well, where it's going to become more problem solving is going to become more systems thinking driven, where you have to I'm going to give you a real world case scenario where you have to draw it out on a whiteboard and see how you can collaborate. We challenge each other's ideas. The interviewer is also trying to keep you on your feet, because those are more that is really what is needed at the job as well. So I feel that is where uh, the industry is going to shift slowly, where what is your day to day and what you're going to be doing on the job is what is going to really become that the aspect of how you do interviews as well. Might be just simple pair programming, and there might be a code assistant doing that pair programming with the interviewer and the interviewee. But you're seeing how the person still collaborates, because uh, working in just teams is still very, it does still require that human element to it. Collaboration, being able to actually navigate problems together, dealing with ambiguity, things like that will still matter, and that's where the companies will start focusing more and more on during those interview loops.
Yeah. So basically, systems thinking, first principles thinking, and more of a human touch. I guess that you're talking about communication in a sense.
Yeah,
Those are kind of the pillars that you're
I would
looking
say
for.
people smart, people smartness. It's just that ability for you to be able to work together with people. So how you communicate, how you deal with ambiguity in those problem statements that are going to be more uh, ambiguous, so that like it's not just a straight answer that you can just generate off of a code generated tool, because as you said, it's going to take a few seconds to just copy and paste it, and if that's going to be what people start doing with interviews. And there are a lot of cases we've actually experienced them at our own interview loops as well.
Okay. So I guess that, you need a lot more beyond technical skills and AI skills to have a really successful career, right? So are there any few important skills in your opinion that you think aspiring students or people in the interview process or people who are thinking about their career should focus on?
I think, as I was just mentioning, that like the ability of like the people smartness, I would say that that's one of the things that like gets ignored quite often, because we focus a lot more on these like the hard skills of like the overall learning a new technology, and a lot of like the technical skills. Those are important, but those are baseline. But things that set people apart is other things that are like adaptability, emotional intelligence, their ability to clearly communicate difficult technical things that they are working on. Be able to actually collaborate across disciplines, not just with technical folks. These are things that also matter a lot, because at big companies, you're not going to be working in a single silo where you're just working on a simple project, which is just a simple application that you're building, versus you're going to be building something that is going to be used by customers and people at companies. So that's where that big shift of like uh, from just those focusing on just the hard skills of the more of these technical skills and things that are taught at traditional schooling systems, versus more of the soft skills also start becoming more and more important. And at all companies, in all interview loops, that is also something that is assessed.
Yes. And how do you think, what do you think are some good ways to inculcate these skills?
I would say just like I feel like these skills usually you learn by doing anything, and the the thing about these skills is I feel like it's almost like where you can also learn. The good thing is that you can also learn by observation a lot, for especially with soft skills, where like you can get mentors. You can see how other people around you that might be doing something very well, and you want to really learn how they do that and understand that better. Observe them, and understand what could you be doing differently. For example, just conflict resolution. Well, I might not be the best at it, but I can still learn and see how someone else at the company or someone else who's my peer is doing that well. So that having always that open mind, that like, yeah, I, as humans, we have always something to learn, and we can continue learning by our own experience, but also by others' experience.
Absolutely. Study and practice, right? And that shouldn't just end at the classroom. It's just something that should be a continuous process in life. But as we wrap up today, so Ashish, as we wrap up, I know you on a personal level as well, and I know that you read a lot. So could you leave us with a few book recommendations, at least those that have significantly influenced your leadership style and skills?
I would say that there have been a lot of books in my journey that has actually like influenced me in some way or the other. Like I feel like with books, it's small ideas. The whole book doesn't need to like completely resonate with you, but there might be just this one small little detail that helped you. I think one of the books that had a big impact on me, a profound impact last year, was this book called Leadership and Self-Deception. And it had introduced me to this idea of thinking inside of the box or outside of the box. And sometimes, as leaders, one of the qualities that matters a lot is empathy and self-awareness, and your own humility around where you might be yourself causing a problem. I think that is a book that resonated very well with me. It's written by this institute called Arbinger Institute, so I would highly recommend that. And any other book, actually, like I'm a big fan of Patrick Lencioni. His Five Dysfunctions of a Team is a very famous book, but he has a lot of books that are more fable style leadership books, and I have read, I would say, most of them, and I'm a big fan of his work, so I would recommend all of those as well.
Fantastic. All right, then. Thank you so much, Ashish. Thank you for your time. I learned a lot, and as always, walking away with a wealth of knowledge every time I speak to you. Thanks.
All right, awesome. Thank you.